Joshua Mahony now, who's a senior market analyst at IG Group. He joins us from London. Great to have you back with us, Joshua. Now, the passing of the EU budget, including that massive relief package, was really touch and go for a moment there, but leaders have finally given it the green light. What sort of market reaction have we seen to that?
Yeah, probably not necessarily the reaction they would have hoped for. This is good news, certainly for the recovery in Europe. And we're talking about a 7-year package, but alongside that, a 750 billion fund to get over the bad effects essentially of COVID this year. This does highlight the difficulties of acting within a bloc, of course, where you have the likes of the UK, the likes of the US. These countries that are able to act on their own, you're likely to see people moving a lot more swiftly. Not necessarily the case on mainland Europe, but with the fact that we have seen this breakthrough, it does at least provide some optimism going forward. Unfortunately, if we're looking at a market reaction, we've seen significant downside in terms of mainland European markets, in particular the DAX, which is heavily lower at the moment. A number of factors really influencing sentiments on markets. Of course, you've got the fact that we might see a no-deal Brexit coming into play. You've got the fact that Germany has now extended the partial lockdown that they've seen throughout the country, because essentially what they've been putting into place hasn't really managed to dent the trajectory, the upwards trajectory of the virus. And you're seeing upside in terms of the US dollar as people are really looking for havens. US compromise over a potential stimulus package over there continues to falter. And so despite the fact that this is good news, certainly for the medium term, for the time being, people are really quite fearful, and we're seeing weakness in terms of stocks, and we're seeing strength for the likes of the US dollar, which does bring the likes of the euro lower.
Now, those all-night negotiations over the budget that happened in Brussels really meant that the issue of a post-Brexit trade agreement was pushed to the fringes of that meeting. Both UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen now say that a no-deal scenario is a strong possibility. How do investors feel about that?
Not great, to be honest. I think that the downside that we've been seeing over the course of the week for the pound does reflect that we are gradually becoming accustomed to the idea that the default option now is a no-deal Brexit. Cast your mind back to 2016, and certainly it was the idea that this would not happen. And it wasn't so long ago that we heard Boris Johnson saying it was a 1 in a million chance that we might be in this position. Now everyone's saying that this is probably the most likely thing that is going to happen. The deadline is Sunday. Quite honestly, if they don't reach an agreement by Sunday, they'll probably just create another deadline. But certainly with the fact that they have to ratify any deal with all 27 EU nations and get signed off on the UK side, you're looking at a very short time frame for something to be agreed. And ultimately, we haven't found that agreement through months of negotiations. That meeting between Ursula von der Leyen and Boris Johnson didn't seem to bring up any compromise. Yes, it laid out the fact that they both have very firm positions. Doesn't feel like there's been any breakthrough. And unfortunately, it feels like they're running out of time, and markets really reflecting that. I think in terms of the UK markets, we've been seeing this nice recovery. Of course, November was dominated by vaccine news. That has led to a significant rise in terms of value stocks. That benefits the UK. Of course, the UK's FTSE 100 in particular has a big exposure to energy stocks, which saw a boost. Travel stocks, banking stocks all performed well, and we saw outperformance. Now what I think we're likely to see is, if we see a no-deal Brexit, you're likely to see weakness in terms of any domestically focused firms. And whilst you could see that inverse correlation between the pound and the FTSE help give a bit of a boost to the international firms, I don't think that's going to be enough, and I think the FTSE could suffer.
Okay, Joshua Mahony from IG in London. Thanks as always for your analysis.